Eala tells aspiring athletes to be the first you. Women's Tennis Association, WTA, number 49 Eala told aspiring local tennis players on Monday night to be themselves as they pursue their dream of becoming the best in the sport locally and globally. Just 2 hours after beating individual neutral athlete Eala 6-1, 6-2, at the start of the WTA 125 Philippine Women's Open round of 32 singles event at the newly refurbished Rizal Memorial Tennis Center, Eala spoke to the media about her messages to upcoming tennis players. "I always say this, not try to be like me or not the next me, but try to be the first you," Eala said. "It is very important to try to find your own path. You can take inspiration from anywhere and anyone you want, but just to be yourself and go for what you love." Unfortunately, 2 of the 3 wildcard Filipino unranked entries, Elizabeth Abaquez and Teniel Maidis, suffered defeats at their separate women's singles round of 32 competitions against their foreign counterparts. Abaquez of Kaka, Cebu came out scoreless in a 0-6, 0-6 beating to Japanese WTA number 105 Mai Hontama, and Maidis of North Cotabato had her moment in the opening set before losing to number 197 Tai Menenchaya Sawankayu, 4-6, 0-6. Eala, the country's 2025 Southeast Asian Games Bangkok, Thailand women's singles gold medalist, also shared her greatest attribute that she has sharpened throughout the years of her worldwide tennis competitions is a mental approach to the game. "My greatest strength is my mindset. I do not know if it attributes for being a Filipina or something personal, but being Filipina is something unique, and I take so much pride in that," Eala added. "Carrying the flag in so many ways, it really brings me a lot of pride and motivates me more." At the round of 16, Eala, 20, is set to face either number 204 Japanese Nao Hibino or number 140 Himino Sakitsum on Wednesday night. "I am going to train and recover and be ready for the next round," said Eala, who downplayed a minor right leg injury that was wrapped up in bandages and returned to the match of their second set after 5 minutes of medical timeout. "Depends on the moment. But yes, I will have to see how I wake up tomorrow and reassess then. I think pain, physical pain, is definitely a part of an athlete's lifestyle. It is a part of the job. So, we must find ways to best manage that and not let it affect us," she explained. In a world that constantly asks young athletes who they want to be, Eala offers a different, quieter question. Who are you willing to become? Not a copy of a champion, not a shadow of a legend, just the first, truest version of yourself. Eala's journey in tennis has never been only about winning points or lifting trophies. It has been about carving space for individuality, for cultural pride, and for belief. As a young Filipina athlete stepping onto courts dominated by familiar powerhouses, she did not arrive carrying the promise of certainty. She arrived carrying courage. And that, she reminds aspiring athletes, is often more important. "Be the first you," she tells them, not as a slogan, but as a survival skill. For many young athletes, the path begins with imitation. They study the footwork of champions, copy their routines, wear the same shoes, swing the racket the same way. There is nothing wrong with learning from greatness. Eala herself has trained under world-class systems and studied the game closely. But she understands the danger of losing yourself while trying to become someone else. Because when the pressure comes, and it always does, borrowed confidence collapses. Only your own remains. Eala's story speaks especially to athletes who feel like outsiders. Those who come from countries not often mentioned in the same breath as sporting giants. Those who walk into training camps aware that few expect them to last. Eala didn't wait for permission to belong. She practiced as if she already did. She showed that representation is not something given. It is something earned through persistence. She tells young athletes that being the first you means accepting that your journey may look different. Progress may be slower. Support may be thinner. Doubt may be louder. But difference is not weakness. It is distinction. When you are the first, you redefine what is possible for everyone who follows. Failure, Eala says, is not the opposite of success. It is part of it. Matches are lost. Rankings fluctuate. Confidence wavers. There are days when effort does not show up on the scoreboard. On those days, being the first you matters most. Because if your identity is built only on winning, losing will erase you. But if your identity is built on growth, discipline, and purpose, nothing truly takes you out of the game. Eala encourages athletes to compete fiercely, but also honestly. To train hard, yet listen to their bodies. To dream big, but remain grounded in gratitude. She speaks about pressure not as an enemy, but as proof that you care. And caring deeply, she believes, is never something to apologize for. What makes her message powerful is its simplicity. She does not ask young athletes to be fearless. She asks them to be brave with their faith. She does not ask them to be perfect. She asks them to be consistent. She does not ask them to become legends overnight. She asks them to show up, again and again, especially when no one is watching. To be the first you is to trust your voice when it trembles. To keep going when applause is absent. To represent something bigger than yourself without losing yourself in the process. Eala stands as proof that greatness does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it arrives quietly, with a racket in hand, carrying belief from a place the world once overlooked. And in doing so, it tells every aspiring athlete, you don't need to be the next anyone. You don't need to fit the mold. You don't need to wait your turn to matter. Be disciplined. Be resilient. Be kind to yourself. And above all, be the first you. Because the world doesn't move forward by repetition. It moves forward when someone dares to begin.